hyperbolic expressions when it comes to qualifying his actions and events. But it's been especially so with, particularly with this meeting with Kim Jong-un. So that actually raises expectation about positive outcome of the summit. But then we have to see the details because the devil is in the details.
What does a signing mean? Because there's different levels of like a joint statement, there's a joint communique, but then there's also a joint declaration of signing. What are the differences, and what's the fact that something is on paper, what significance does that have?
Well, it's not binding, per se, because in the case of at least the United States, in order to have something binding, you have to go through the U.S. Congress. So in that sense, what's going to happen at the end of this summit is that there will be a joint agreement or communique, but then it's going to be, because they use the term agreement, we're hoping that it's going to be something about substantial details into North Korea's denuclearization roadmap. That's what we're hoping for right now. But on the other hand, I wouldn't really raise our hopes for now, because it really depends on where is your baseline expectation about this summit. If your baseline expectation is going to be about, the two, Trump and Kim, they sit down together and then have a nice chat and lunch, then this is already a success, a tremendous success, as President Trump will say. But on the other hand, if you're looking for a more detailed roadmap to North Korea's denuclearization, then we have to hold on and then see what the agreement says.
What sort of an agenda do you think would have been included in that joint document that they're going to sign? A lot of agenda had been played around before we were walking into the summit today. The human rights agenda, of course, the hotly contested issue of denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula, as well as some of the other issues surrounding the two sides. What do you think is the key that we should have our eyes to when we have that signing moment?
So there's like an extended bilateral meeting between Trump and Kim Jong-un this morning. On each side included the head of the foreign service, as well as foreign service, and the national security as well. So on the Kim Jong-un side, there's Lee Soo-young and Lee Young-oh. These are the they're the heads of the foreign service in North Korea. On the American side, we had John Bolton, the national security advisor, as well as Mike Pompeo, the Secretary of State. It shows that because the composition of the delegation is actually about denuclearization. It's going to be about offering security guarantees to North Korea in exchange for North Koreans taking steps towards denuclearization. The whole agreement is going to be about denuclearization. That's going to be the only topic of the agreement, or if there's an agreement, obviously. There will be no extraneous subjects such as economic assistance or human rights issue in this case. That's the minimum that we can guess at this moment. But on the other hand, when it comes to the actual details of the agreement, then again we have to think about what the two leaders have been saying so far, and then we can kind of guess that the agreement is going to contain details that ranges from a basic agreement in principle about North Korea's commitment to denuclearization and the United States commitment to provide security guarantees to North Korea. Might not be very like a detail, but at least like expressed in ambiguous but in a positive terms. We could also range all the way to a roadmap, actual roadmap towards denuclearization with a very clear, fixed timeline. And also there could be concrete offers from North Korea which could make President Trump happy and take the deal back to Washington and be able to send it to the Congress, which would be North Korea's willingness to give up some which are ICBM capability, and also as maybe some nuclear capability, maybe allow American inspectors into the country and verify the denuclearization process.
And going over to you, Hee-jun, it seems like everything is in schedule, that we are going as planned. We don't know, although, at least as to what to expect at what significant hour. We are understanding that the two sides are having series of meetings as they had planned, but we don't know exactly when they will be out to sign that joint document, so to speak. And we were teased before by multiple reports leading up to today's summit that the leaders' time of departure of Singapore. As for a full wrap of a schedule between the two leaders, where are we now?
So far we know that Trump and Kim are going off to sign some kind of document, but so far we have President Trump's press conference scheduled for 5 p.m. We don't know yet whether we'll have a press conference from the North Korean side, but as of this afternoon, we're expecting that from President Trump, the U.S. side. And President Trump said he'll be flying out of Singapore at 8 p.m., but so I think we can pretty much expect things to wrap up by then, by late evening today.
So that report about North Korean leader Kim Jong-un leaving at around 2 p.m. Singapore time was not proven to be not true at this point.
Do you think there was any kind of intentions from the North Korean side, Doctor, that they released this 2 p.m. deadline, that they were going to leave back to North Korea? Do you think they were trying to pressure some sort of the U.S. on their side?
Let me interrupt, Doctor, before you answer that. I think we are getting live feed from the summit location with both leaders after having teased that they will sign a joint declaration or a joint document. It is a choppy feed that we are getting because given the fact that it's far away and that being streamed live all the way here to Korea, there will be some of the hiccups in delivering those live video feed. It's just, we're just seeing a bunch of reporters surrounding a location inside the Capella Hotel where the two leaders have been holding summit ever since early this morning. We are going back to the Dr. Ko about that question that Tang Ho threw you.
It could be, in many ways. Clearly, if Kim Jong-un puts a deadline to stay in Singapore, it caps the number of hours that the two leaders can discuss about denuclearization, actual details of denuclearization. And details is actually what the Americans are interested in right now. Because more details that are out there, they'll be clear what kind of denuclearization plan that North Korea has in mind. So time was a very important factor in this case, and clearly if North Koreans, it was actually North Koreans who leaked this information that Kim Jong-un was about to leave Singapore at 2 p.m. today, that would have acted as a pressure or even like a capped expectation on the part of the Americans.
Right now we're seeing footage from this morning when they, well, earlier today, I think. Oh, this was just before, maybe about half an hour ago as they came out of the hotel. This is when Trump teased the press that, they were going to go for a signing. It looks like they're trying to maybe recreate a little bit of that bromance.
Footbridge that we saw between the two leaders of Korea.
Yeah,
yes,
that's right.
At the Inter-Korean summit in April. And maybe a little bit of the seaside moment with Xi Jinping and Kim Jong-un as well. And they're doing a little bit of walking and talking. We saw earlier Trump introducing Kim Jong-un to his car, to his, as we called, the Beast. And I think we will go back to that footage of the signing, I think when we get better footage and when we get better connection.
It's interesting to see because a lot of us waiting for today's summit had said that we won't be able to see something that we'd seen with between the leaders of the two Koreas, given the language barrier and some of the differences that they come from with different cultural aspects and all that. But now, I mean, crushing those, some of the expectations that we've seen the two leaders